I like that. That's good. That's even better.
Those are props. These are my books. Some of my books. Yeah.
Okay. We are live. All right, everyone. I am known as Dr. D, aka Food Alchemist. I am the host, the owner of 963B4U. Also, I am also the person owner of Dreams to Reality Ranch. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Tonight's topic, I'm ready, the golden liquid. You're talking about urine therapy, and my special guest, none other than Brother Sage in the house. So welcome. I am so excited to talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, at the bottom of the screen, you see the number. You call into that number if you want to participate, punch in that number, and you can ask a question or just speak your mind. So let me know, and I'll look for it. So let's go. Let's rock and roll. Okay, now we go. Da-da-da-da-da. So let's talk about who is Brother Sage.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It's an honor. It's going to be a lot of fun today. I say aloha because I live on the island of Kauai, so I get to wear these. These are my uniforms and spend time at the beach. So I'm a wellness practitioner who goes back to 1979. And back in the 70s and 80s, we were known as holistic health practitioners.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So that my background goes back to many years of doing body work, nutritional consulting, spiritual development, self-mastery courses. And then over the last 10, 20 years, I brought urine therapy into my practice and more on social media in the last 8 years.
So my question is, what made you go in the direction of studying urine therapy?
Well, the books, you know, how it happens metaphysically or supernaturally. The book jumps off the shelf. I'm at one of those bookstores, and the book was called The Golden Fountain by Cohen Vanderkroon out in Holland. Well, I've heard of him before. I've heard of the subject before, but it was time for me to dig in and get to know what it's all about. So I grabbed his book, and it eventually became my urine therapy Bible. It had so much information and technique and trainings and ingredients and history and evidence behind it. It sounded like, okay, I'll give it a try. But it wasn't the thing that lit my fire. It was another book called The Secrets of Youthing, in which one of my spiritual mentors, Leonard Orr, talked about everything he healed with his water. They call it Shiva Kalpa. And he was a devotee of Babaji, also known as Shiva. Well, Dr. Day, when I discovered the connection, and I was also a devotee of Babaji, I said, I don't need anything to jump through. I didn't have to question it. I just started right away because it was a spiritual connection.
I like that. Okay, because I had heard about urine therapy. There's a church called Logos that was in Scottsdale, Arizona, that I was a member of, and they believe in the teachings of Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet. And he also created the ARE school in Virginia. Right. So Dr. Ann Purrier was the Reverend, and Dr. Herb Purrier was also the Reverend there in charge of this church. And he did the psychology and a lot of stuff. So everything was metaphysical. So at the time I was young and I had 2 children, and my daughter had end-stage renal failure. And she started talking about, I didn't run into way, she had it for a long time. Doctor made a mistake and caused her to shut down her kidneys by prescribing her the wrong medicine at the age of 3. By now, my daughter is like 11, and I ran into this lady. Her name is Gertrude. Gertrude is 83 years old and was working on her 4th boyfriend. I'll never forget it when I met her. And she was sitting here and saying, I wish I would have met you years ago. Because then when she first got diagnosed, because at that time my daughter was on hemodialysis. So she was like, if we had got it before, she could have did urine therapy. But she didn't call it urine therapy. She said, we could have taught you about the golden therapy that we learned from the Hopi. I said, from the who? The what?
Yeah.
Who's the Hopi? Like, what's she talking about? So she was like, but it's too late. You know, we'll move on and make on. But that's the first time I heard about that. So years later on, I don't know if you ever heard of Dr. Sebi.
Yes.
Dr. Sebi talked about doing urine therapy for his eyes. And the way he explained it, well, he fasted, of course. He did it, but he said, like, I think a day or two, he was blind.
Yeah.
Like, he was literally blind.
Yes.
And when he came back, he could see.
Better
and I'm like, what? What in the world? Okay. So that piqued my curiosity, but then you get a lot of these doctors. This is why I wanted to invite somebody on the show. Oh, don't do that. You don't do that. And these new awakening people, and I'm saying new because they're new, and they're saying, no, yeah, Dr. Sebi, his teaching is expired. How does the master's teaching ever become unexpired? They don't expire.
They don't fade away.
So that got me curious for myself, because I have struggled with real bad paralyzing rheumatoid arthritis. And I mean paralyzing. My levels are off the chart, where they were giving me Percocet and everything. I mean, high dosage and prednisone. So they messed up my system. And I was like, okay, I had a master herbalist tell me that my whole system was septic. Okay? That's what he said. So take these herbs and they will heal. Took the herbs for 30 days. They nada. No. I fasted. Now I've been vegan. I've been raw vegan. I've been a vegan chef. Everybody knows my journey. Been there, done that. Wore the t-shirt and an affiliate of most. Okay? So I said, I'm going to start doing research. I'm going to start it. But then it was a gentleman's book. He was from Japan, Mitsu, and him and his friend, but they were in Boston, but he was Japanese, and he was talking about the therapy, and they were going to check with each other. He said, you know, when you first think about it, it grossed me out. And I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm there with you. So I'm like, try to hang in. Like, come on, like, make me see something that's going to make me like.
Yeah, give me more.
Right. So he explained how he did it every day. And he said, when I get up in the morning, the deal was that he was going to drink the fresh urine. That's the only thing I knew about. You drink the fresh urine, you urinate, and then you drink the fresh urine, and then you throw the rest away. Like the first you go on and you get it midstream, and then you go, no.
No.
Okay.
All right. Can I clarify that?
Okay. Tell me.
All right. It's time to shine a light on these myths.
Okay.
Right? That myth goes back 5,000 years to the sacred teachings of the Dhamma Tantra. The Hindus came up with it. And it was the whole story about Shiva, their Lord of the universe, teaching his partner Parvati how to be strong and healthy and live a long life. Because she asked him one day. And he says, that's simple. Drink of yourself and you will live and you will know. So he lays out this 9-year program of which it tells you how to use the urine, what herbs to mix it with, what conditions will be healed, what length of time. And at the end of these 9 years, you will achieve physical immortality. Well, there's a verse that got stuck in time in which it says, and I'll explain because the second verse clarifies it. The first verse says, I don't know the number of the verse, but it says, the flow that comes through you is symbolic of a snake, and the head and the tail could harm you. This is where they came up with the concept of midstream.
Oh,
All right,
midstream.
hang in there. Then the second verse clarifies it by saying that is based on tradition and, listen for it, superstition. Fast forward 5,000 years, we know that every drop that's gone through the filters over 1,000,000 times the nephron, which is part of the kidney system, is absolutely sterile. Every drop is sterile. So there's no need to try to be, a gymnast and try to collect and stop and go. Every drop matters.
I like that. Okay, so what prompted you to write your first book about urine therapy? Like, what happened? Let's see.
There's the first book.
Healing Waters. I want y'all to see that. Healing Waters.
From Within. First got published, the first edition came out in 2018.
Okay. You know I'm writing this down, right?
Yeah.
So,
And it's on Amazon.
okay. And does it come in an ebook form?
Yes, ebook and audiobook.
Oh, and okay.
For those who like to listen and not read. You know those people. They're so multitasking. They're jogging and listening to a book. They're driving a car and they're listening to a book.
Okay. So then after you did that, so did you get questions? Did people come to you and want to sit at your feet or learn? Did you start doing courses? I mean, your first book, so, and it hasn't been, talked about much.
All right, just so you know, the title is actually Healing Water from Within.
Healing Waters Within. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Are you able to edit that?
Yeah.
Healing
Totally.
Water, singular, from within. I also have 200 copies at the house if anyone in the United States wants a signed copy.
From within. Okay.
Healing Water from Within. Amazon.
I got it. I'll just put it out there.
Okay. So I've been doing this practice since 1994.
Come on. There we go. I'm listening. You got my attention.
All right. So I started this practice. Nailed it.
I got it. Healing Waters from Within.
Okay. So I've been doing urine therapy privately.
Mm-hmm.
I had no one to talk about it. My wife thought it was my own little habit, my own hobby. And so she wasn't convinced and she didn't try it. And I wish I had, because years later she ends up dying of colon cancer and I could have helped save her, but I didn't have the certainty and confidence I have now. Okay. That's just on the side note. So here I am practicing all privately, no one to talk to. And I discovered social media is all a buzz about urine therapy. And there was like 24 social media groups on Facebook and Instagram, and Telegram wasn't even around then. All right. Wow. So with all this going on, I get inspired. I get this download for a manuscript. It comes, through me. And then I end up finishing the book and taking it to a Water of Life symposium, a urine therapy convention in Las Vegas. About a month after it was published, I end up in Las Vegas, and the guy who put it together, what a sweetheart. He brought 80 people together in a conference room in Las Vegas. And imagine being in a room with 80 pee drinkers. Well, that's what I was in. So he puts me at the table for the authors who have selling autographed copies, and gave me a moment on the stage. Well, that totally turned my life around, Dr. Day, because within 30 days, I'm on 30 podcasts, radio and television shows, and my whole life went full tilt boogie, talking and teaching, and writing about this subject.
I like that full tilt boogie.
It all happened so quickly. I didn't see it coming. I'm so glad I answered the call.
See, and that's a beautiful thing. So when did you write your second book?
The second book, this one came out in 2020. It's the manual for urine therapy teachers.
Okay.
And therapists. Now, this became the textbook for all my courses.
Nice. So you wrote the book, and how many months
This one's a
before
lot.
you did the course, or was the course first and then you got the book for the manual?
I wrote the manual first and then started putting out the word or promoting that I'm teaching urine therapy training courses. And it caught on.
Nice.
It caught on. And over the period of time, I put together the handouts, the charts, copies of the book, and got everybody prepared, even with a certificate of completion in urotherapy. And now I'm coming up to training number 40.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Now let's talk about the third book.
The third book was the handbook. It was an abbreviated form of this book. So the whole idea of the handbook was so that people could give them away. It was affordable, and people say, hey, you ought to find out about this golden water therapy. What is it? Well, read this book. It'll help educate you.
Right.
It was designed so people won't feel like people will judge them for bringing up the subject. So if you this is a hint for all the people who are going to watch this. If you hand them something from somebody who was an author, it gives you a lot more credibility than them thinking, oh, she's a kook, but this is the real deal. It helps soften the introduction to them.
I get you. It's an expert. See, when you write books, now you're the expert. So we need the expertise. Okay.
Yes. And this book I'm using for the beginner's class. I'm also teaching a beginner's class.
Okay.
For the newbies.
So are you doing it there in Kauai, or are you traveling and teaching it at other places, like campus, or in like a holistic retreat or something? How are you doing that for the beginners?
Well, in 2020, I put together a Shivambu. You're familiar with Shivambu, right? Shivambu, it means urine therapy in Hindi. We had one in Oceanside, California, and then 2 years later, one in Portland, Oregon.
Nice.
And since moving to Hawaii, I'm doing everything online through Zoom.
Okay. Okay. So when is your next class?
The next class is a week from, what is today, Wednesday? The 25th. Yes.
Okay, the 25th. So how would people get in contact with you if they want to actually take this course on a beginner and either do it Zoom or you said by Zoom? So you're not having anybody come to Kauai and do it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So the simplest way to find my email and phone number is through my website, brothersage.com.
Okay. I'll put that there.
And the larger course is a 15-hour course. It's 3 hours per day with a break in the middle. And that goes on for 5 consecutive Wednesdays.
Okay.
And then the beginner's class is a 3-part class, and each session is an hour and a half. That goes on for 3 Fridays. Okay. Now, for the public who don't want to attend either class, I also have regular Q&A calls that anybody can join.
Okay, come on. I get information. See, one day I'll be rich and I'll have an assistant and she'll do everything for me. All I have to do is just show up on camera. Action, light, camera.
I'm right there with you, sister. You do what you do best and you be the star. And let the people in the background take care of the logistics and the details.
Definitely. Okay, so we're going to switch to that. Okay. I'm putting events, and let's see what else. Have you ever been to the Conscious Life Expo?
No.
I'm going to talk to him. Or Life Expo. He has so many. Mark has so many different expos that is unreal. And
I just had my 4th interview from Jonathan Otto and his staff. So I mean, he's interviewed me 4 times. So the next Secrets to Health video and docuseries that he's going to put out in March, I'll be featured in that one.
Congratulations! That is amazing.
Yes. I've
Okay.
been blessed with rubbing shoulders with the other guys that are colleagues in this movement.
Uh-huh.
Uh, did an interview with Dr. Group, did an interview with Troy Casey, Amanda Vollmer, just all kinds of people. While we were all moving into the fullness of our practice and our work, we all had a chance to intersect, and sometimes they showed up on the world conference calls that I hosted for years.
Nice. That's so beautiful. You keep doing what you're doing. So you're doing your passion, which is so amazing. And you're actually so confident that within yourself of your teachings is just incredible. Because a lot of us don't, like you said at the beginning, because of fear. And that is totally amazing that you're coming forth, writing book, teaching, doing courses, and doing it. Now, I know I seen on Amazon you have another book with another gentleman, and where the heck was it?
I
It
have
was you.
two other books with two other gentlemen, and I'm working
Okay,
on a new book right now.
right now, right
Right
now,
now.
right now.
Yeah, I'm almost done with the manuscript. We're looking to in March for a launch. So the last book was called A Fall into Water. And it's an
Nice.
adventure story of this brother and sister in the year 2025, and they're sick and they're struggling with their health. They're having a tough time. Well, in their backyard is a well that's always dry. They would go back and it was dry. And then for some reason, Dr. Day, they go in the backyard. The well is filled with water. And while they're leaning over into the well, they fall into the water. And when they come out of the water, they are transformed back to the year 1625. And in this year, they discover this whole population of people who don't age, don't get sick, and they don't die. There's 150-year-olds that are like working out in the garden, and nobody's, they're all healthy. And then little by little over time, they're introduced to this, what they call the first water, or the water within. And they
Nice.
heal everything, and they are changed, and their consciousness grows, and they're really mixed because they know that they have to make a decision whether they're going to stay there or go back to the year 2025 to bring this good news to the world. Well, it's a terrific book. I'm not going to give it away, but it's a way to teach about urine therapy without ever using the word urine in the book.
That is amazing. So, okay, I would have an opinion. Now, I know what I was doing for my children, people found controversy, but them being vegan and never having meat and no dairy, no processed sugar, they just found really weird. But I kind of thought about it. I grew up the same way,
Yeah.
differently. And the world exposed me to white sugar, and their desserts were white sugar, because I didn't grow up with molasses or pineapples or apples and for sweeteners and plums and prunes and stuff. Uh, so it was kind of different. So I kind of did the same thing. So how would you expose children to urine therapy? Because I know, like we talked about it earlier today about the myth. Like the myth is, I was told take baby pee if you have acne or whatever, and take that and rub it all over your face and it'll cure the acne. So you said that's a myth.
No.
Oh, no, it's not a myth. Okay.
The baby urine has been passed down from grandmother to granddaughter to so and so every generation. They knew this tradition, and that when the baby had a fever, the baby had a skin condition, they would take the soiled diaper from the baby that had the baby's urine and massage it back onto the baby, and it would get better and better.
Nice. Okay. Now, the reason I bring this up, because there was this thing, like they have these little clips or shows or saying addiction. It's some kind of addiction. Like I'm addicted to eating toilet paper or something. And they had this lady said that she was addicted. Her daughter brought her on a show to say her mother was addicted to drinking her urine. And she thought it was detrimental, da da da. And the lady said, well, I want you to go get tested. And she had lost a lot of weight. And people think, well, when you just drink that you lose your mind. And that's right, you're losing your mind. You're not part of society. Or like they try to actually say she was not mentally capable and tried to have her committed.
Yes, yes.
And
that's by choice. Those are the people who spin an opposite narrative so they can keep you going to them for medical assistance.
okay, so I thought that was like bad. Like I was like, well, I would like to see her blood work or whatever. And why, but she was very thin. She seems healthy. Her hair looked good. I mean, for me looking at her, I couldn't find anything wrong with her. And I was like, okay, I really don't trust MDs anyway, but I'm not going to say that too loud. You didn't hear that.
Yeah, well, we know in 2026 is that if it comes from the media or if it comes from mainstream media, they oftentimes want to angle it toward their version of what's real. That's called, they're selling you, indoctrinating you into their idea of what's real. So you'll go along with them. And this is what started in 1917. Yeah, it was 1917 when urine therapy started to get demonized by the people who took over the healthcare system on the planet. You know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. We know the culprit.
The R fellers. Yeah.
The fellers.
The R fellers.
And the child.
So that stayed in the collective consciousness and for all those years until brave people came forward and wrote books about it and start talking about it and say, hey, what if they got it wrong? And our body actually has enough intelligence to put together what it needs to heal and regenerate the cells and the tissues and the functions of the body. And all you got to do is know what it is and what to do with it.
Now, I want to know, have you been to India and seen any of the people from India that are Hindu that actually practice urine therapy?
No, and yes. What I mean by that, not to make it sound awkward, is that I've known people that I've met here in the United States from India that have been practicing for 40 to 50 years. And they look great in their 70s and 80s.
And how is their activity level like? Their functioning? Because over here, a lot of us have arthritis, or they have Arthur, and we also we wear a lot of glasses. Our hair turned gray a lot earlier, and we have what I call brain fog, or earlier stages of senile and dementia.
Right. all of that, majority of that is a result of what we're eating. Right. And all the food that people have been eating that's filled with toxins and chemicals and GMOs and bioengineered foods, the body doesn't recognize it. So most of those people are having health challenges. The people who are doing fasting and moving into living foods and raw foods and sprouting and shibambu, you can't tell their age.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So that's a living testament right there.
There you go. There you go. See, for me, like, I was thinking of it like when people come from here. Her name is Jawala. She left California and went to live in India in an ashram. And then I don't know what happened. She wasn't making enough money, so she started to do some things. And in India, when you come there, you don't make money, and then you start making money. It's I guess, a not good thing. She got deported, and Jawala came back to the States. And she said it's a beautiful place, just being free. And that's what it was. It was freedom, but at a cost. You couldn't make money, but how can you live and eat if you don't grow anything, don't have a home? So it's like a catch-22. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. And she's a child from the 70s, and she said, I didn't work no job and I had no children. I've been over, and she had been over in India since the 80s. So her coming back, I believe it was 2016. She came back 2016. No, 2014. I'm sorry, 2014. That's a long time to be over there. And then to come back and you have no social security buildup. You don't have anything. She started from scratch. So I kind of felt bad, but she said the life and the food, like it's totally different. And I said, oh, I can tell you, living in Guam and living in Hawaii and living in Mexico, eating the food actually here makes me sick. And they don't understand it. So it's a catch-22.
It is. And a lot of that has to do with our orientation of what we consider food. Because here in Hawaii, it's easy to be a fruitarian.
Yes.
Right? It's you go to a farmer's market, there's fruit stands in front of people's houses. You can go to people's farms. And I walk up and down the street in front of my house every day. I found a moringa tree. There's a papaya tree. Around the corner is noni hanging out into the public area. Bananas fell into our backyard from the neighbor. So there's all kinds of ways to manifest food, whether you have money or not.
For food foresting, that's what we called it. See, what I liked living on the Big Island when I lived there is that we could go work on the farm and pick food and take the fruit, give them it's a double bonus. We're helping them, but we're also helping ourselves. So they would let us take some of the fruit and we would sell it at the Big Island health food store. So that way we're actually still getting paid, like pineapples, papayas, soursop, all these things. I was just truly amazed that we could do this. And it was like, okay, you didn't have to worry about it. And people slept on the beach. So, I mean, it was really so different of a lifestyle on the Big Island when I lived there that I loved it. But also it gets somewhat unaffordable. They make it unaffordable for some people. But all depends on what you consider unaffordable. If you're willing to live in a tent, because on our beaches on Big Island, I don't know about Kauai, we actually have bathrooms and you can take a shower and you can go to the bathroom, wash up, and they're on the public beach.
Yeah.
So you can just
not on every beach. They're not on every beach, but the ones that have the majority of, the picnic areas and the parking areas, they do have those facilities.
Right. And some people are actually just, living in those areas in a tent. At nighttime, they put their tent up on the beach and be right there by the bathroom. And, during the nighttime, that's what I do. Barbecue right there, in the picnic area, put it back at, when it's time to go, you wouldn't even know. They take a shower, whatever. You think they've been to the beach and surfing. I mean, it was free, like a free living of life. But like I said, it's so different if you can do that. But if you're a huge family, it can be quite difficult.
The secret here is using your creativeness in order to pull these things off. I know some of the guys that live under bushes over at the beach. They're great souls, but they haven't figured out their living situation, or they don't care to be part of the system anymore.
They know.
They have people that they know that bring them food, to drop off money, to drop off their whatever they need, and they're making it work.
Right.
Without social services.
That one. Yeah. See, all depends on who you know, what you know, and what you're willing to do. Like I said, if you're willing to do that, then that's good. But I'm a creature, and I'm going to be very honest. Like I told people, I had to live in an RV with my son and my 2 dogs. And I was like, guess what? This was just a vacation of transforming from Guam to the mainland. And I realized, guess what? Tiny house living is definitely not in me, especially with 2 dogs and my son. That's just not a way of living. But okay, let's get back to the topic on hand.
This is now,
that. So let's talk about what's the difference between aged. Is there a difference? Because someone's talking about aged urine. Why would you age urine?
Okay, The question is to compare it with fresh, right?
Okay.
Fresh, fresh is the fresh collected. Basically, that's what it is. All right.
Okay.
When you collect it, that's considered at that peak moment, it's fresh.
Okay.
All right. Now, the aged label or the age category is an arbitrary way to measure it to determine its date of most potency. Some people go, well, how long should you store it and cover it and let it mature and ferment, whatever?
Right.
I'm going to clear it up really quick here. It all depends on who you studied and who you studied from. Some people read a book called The Water of Life by John W. Armstrong that came out in 1944. And he came up with a measurement of 4 days is considered aged urine.
Okay.
Right? At the convention I went to in Las Vegas, this herb teacher, Dr. Rosalind Hansen, said, no, it's actually 9 months because that's the measurement of the gestation period of a baby. So the confusion is that you got 4 days, 9 months. Oh, it's arbitrary. The thing that everybody needs to pay attention to is at the moment you collect it, it's growing in stem cells. It's growing in nutrients. It's growing in potency. So it's arbitrary what date you want to call aged urine.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Cause I was curious, like, cause a lot of the groups you go into it's better to be fermented. You need to keep it for 3 months. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Huh?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
So thank you for clearing that up, because I know I'm not the only one that had that question. Some of us are too scared. And again, like, where do they go to ask these questions?
Excellent. I like to point out, so when you're first introducing this topic to people, and you can feel the resistance, they're still dealing with what we call the disgust factor. You want me to do what with my what? You know how that response is. I said, hey, listen, I've given you a lot of information, a lot of facts. Would you be willing to put your hand in it to help your hand condition, or put your foot in it in case you have a foot condition, arthritic condition, a scratch, a bite, a bee sting, whatever? And they said, fine. I teach my students how to baby step people into using it without them thinking they have to drink it is the only way to deliver it into the body.
Right, because the skin is the biggest organ there is.
Correct.
Which is amazing. Okay.
So whether they're using it for clearing out eyes and doing an eye rinse, sinus conditions, ears, et cetera, all these are written in my book so people can learn there's various protocols other than the oral use.
See? Didn't even know that. So, and okay, what about storage if you're going to store urine? What kind of container would you put it in? Does it matter?
Very simple. I will demonstrate. I've got about 3 gallons underneath my bathroom sink. This is one of my babies right here. All right. Okay. This is about 4 months old. You can see it's got the white solution. Yeah, that's stem cells and white blood cells, and it's all concentrated.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. So when you cover these things up, you've got 2 choices here. And I like to think that it's irrelevant. First of all, let me just remind you, and everybody's watching you, that urine therapy is a personal water. It speaks to you in your language only the 2 of you communicate.
Right.
This practice is so simple. It works regardless of your considerations. It's not based on any kind of dogma or rules or any of that stuff. I mean, you can't mess it up. There's no side effects. There's no after effects. The only way to mess it up is to not use it, is to walk away from it.
Okay. Makes sense.
So when people cover it up, some people think, well, when you cover it up, it has to breathe. So they'll put on cheesecloth, they'll put on a nylon stocking, they'll put on a coffee filter, whatever, the rubber band. They think, okay, that's the way to go. That's fine. And this water contains 5,662 ingredients, of which it breathes in there. You can still see bubbles in mine. So right. You don't have to, nothing can contaminate it. It's a perfectly laboratory type of sterile environment. So this is what I do. I just take a cup or a jar and put an oversized lid on it.
Okay.
That's it. The only reason you cover it is so nothing flies in there, falls in there.
Makes sense. See, I like that. See, and I'm liking that you're showing this as so people to see, because some people don't get to see, but some people don't know. So I'm really glad that you're enlightening other people. And you said, again, I want to reiterate, you're having an event of course on February 25th, 2026, correct? And
Correct.
on the website they see above, they can get more information about your event because you have it on that website, correct?
No, I've been posting on social media, but if they reach out to me, I'll send them the promotion of it. And anybody who decides they want to get in these classes and you prepay, you'll save $25 to $50 on one of those courses.
Nice. Wow,
So
that's really amazing. I like that.
Thank
Discount.
Discount for being on this show.
Right. That's beautiful. So, okay. Now that you're going to your documentary, and how many other people are in this documentary with you?
Oh, the one with Jonathan?
Yes.
I'm not gonna know because I was just invited as one of the guest speakers.
Wow. Okay.
So how many and who they are, stay tuned.
Yes, because I'm gonna come back like, what's going on? How did it go? And did you go out? So, okay, the way you're doing this in Kauai on the island. And I'm trying to think. Kauai, no, is Kauai the island not everybody can get on? Like they don't invite other people? Or what island is that?
That island is Ni'ihau, which is a privately owned island. Majority of that island is owned by one family.
Right.
And that one you have to be invited, and that you have to get on their tour schedule, and they control the whole thing. But Kauai is the furthest and the oldest, most northern island of the whole chain of Hawaiian islands.
Nice. Okay.
Now, since I've been here, this is what's really touched me. Is this is my 4th year, and I've met at least 50 people who practice urine therapy in Hawaii on this island.
Wow. 50.
So 50 people out of 73,000 population.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing.
That
okay. 73,000. That's a lot of people.
Well, that's the permanent residents. We're not even including the guests and the tourists.
Holy crap. Okay. Wow.
You got to look at the proportion, because if you go to Big Island and if you go to Oahu, they have several million over there.
I don't like Oahu, so I don't care. I'm being very honest. I had to go through there to Guam, and it's like a quick moment. Let's go. Yeah. When I was a veteran, we had to go there, and that was the worst nightmare I ever wanted to do. I was like, can you find me somewhere else to go besides there? And they're like, I'm not a city girl. I am a country island girl through and through. Right now, I'm in the country with the cows and what is it? The orange orchard trees. No, sir.
Yeah.
They can keep it.
Yeah, all yours.
Right. So that is good. So that means the spiritual openness of that. Now, do you take your urine and use it as fertilizer for your plants or anything else?
I've been known to do that after doing foot soaks.
Okay.
One of the protocols is to do a foot soak for 30 minutes. You want to collect about 3/4 a gallon of the urine and put it in your Tupperware or your Rubbermaid tub. And we want just enough to cover you up to the ankles, because in reflexology, all these major points are in the soles of your feet and around your ankles, which happens to be the reproductive organs in the pelvis area of the body.
Mm.
So after you soak and then you leave, that water you can use several times over. And then when you're done, you can pour it in your plants or in your yard.
Okay. Because I know it has good benefits that way for the plants. Now, trying to think, for papaya plants, it's a really great nutrient to actually for your plants to grow, you
Okay.
actually get fruits sprouting a lot better and healthier,
Mhm.
as well as your dragon fruit.
Yeah.
That I learned from one of my landlords. She was like her papaya tree wouldn't grow. In my house, these papaya trees were on my land, or where I was renting this house for 15 years,
Mhm.
and they never sprouted. But I did something totally different. I used my own urine. I used
Excellent.
what is it? I'm trying to think, eggshells, coffee, whatever I did. I just did, I guess, the abnormal, what people call abnormal. And next thing I know, they started sprouting. Then dragon fruit started sprouting. She said, I didn't even know it was a dragon fruit there. What made you? I was like, I see a plant. I figure it needs to be fed. And
Yeah.
she's like, so that shows you just how powerful the golden liquid within ourself is really is. That we don't understand the power that was in us, which is
Right.
amazing, really
Now,
amazing.
thousands of years ago, it was known back in the days of Caesar in Rome and the Aztecs and the Native Americans, they knew about it in the agricultural industry. They knew about it in the textile industry. Not only would it hold the color, but it would help the fabric, and they use it in the textile industry. I mean,
Yes.
today it's well known in the beauty and skincare industry because of one ingredient in it called urea. All right. Urea has this incredible property for keeping the skin toned up and beautiful.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know there's urine in their makeup and in their cosmetic products because the word urea, and these are slick marketers, they use another word to disguise it, and that word is carbamide. So if you look at some of the shampoos and conditioners and it says carbamide, you go, oh, that's urine. It's in my shampoo.
See, now you know why your hair grow.
And keeps growing and looking good.
Okay. So are you thinking that more doctors are really going to start, I won't say MDs, but maybe NDs, naturopathic doctors?
Are you talking about bringing it into their practice?
Right.
Well, this seems to be a time of a great awakening and a revealing of truth. The doctors, the NDs, like Dr. Group and Jonathan Otto and various other well-known high profilers, they know how important this is to help humanity, and they're not concerned about losing their reputation or their practice. And
Right.
this is what scares and intimidates the doctors because they're leaned on heavily by big pharma and the guys who pull their strings. So in order for them to come out public, they got to be willing to risk it all,
Right.
to be that courageous. The same with the guys, you may know this, Ayurvedic medicine was based originally on urine therapy. So the guys who teach our Ayurvedic practices and they have an Ayurvedic clientele, they don't necessarily talk about urine therapy, but they know it's part of their roots.
Right. It's a lot of stuff about Ayurvedic because they do the ear. Like, I thought I was doing something because I was doing the neti pot and
Yep.
I was doing the oil pulling.
Uh-huh.
And then I found out, no, you're missing that. You're missing the ear, like the ear stuff that they do in the morning. There's a ear cleansing that they do and how they wash their eye out. I was like, oh, wow, this is deeper than I thought. I thought it was just the pitta, the vat, just knowing them and knowing your attitude and not to eat ghee, what ghee is, and just, okay. So that gets me to thinking, not just human, what about animal urine?
Yeah.
What, because that makes me think about, I don't know where I see about cow urine in India on
Yep.
certain things, but I seen them drink it, but I said, well, maybe I'm crazy. Um, I watch a lot of documentaries and they blur together, but I'm trying to think about the animal urine uh, therapy that might be done or has been done? Do you
Yeah,
know any information about that you can share?
it's still being done. In India, they call it gomutra,
Cool.
which is their word for cow urine. And their cows are considered sacred for a reason.
Right.
Okay, and part of it is their urine, their water. And when people go down to the Ganges River to go bathing, they know that all these people are peeing in the water, and they know that their animals have peed in the water, but they know the healing qualities and properties of it, so they look forward to it. It's the meaning they give it.
Okay.
And Saudi Arabia and other countries in that east, they use camel urine because the camel has properties and abilities that also coincide with humans.
Right.
I happen to have some right here.
Wow. Okay.
3-year-old camel urine.
You got that delivered, or you went over there and you got it yourself?
No, I got a friend of mine, a colleague in Chicago, and he's marketing camel urine right now. So I got it from him. So one thing I would also remind everybody, and I would love to send them if they want it, or if you want it, I put together the Shivambu Wisdom Chart.
Okay.
This chart highlights all the important points and aspects of why this water works.
Okay.
And taking this and memorizing it really makes a big difference. Number one, it's an intuitive water, which means you don't have to keep calling up Brother Sage, say, how do I use it? How often? Da, da, da. We all have a built-in guidance system. It's called your intuition. And it communicates with your body and with your water and guides you.
Right.
All right. Number two, it works regardless of your considerations. That means, I hope you guys are paying attention, it works whether you use a man's water, golden water, or a woman's water. It doesn't matter if you use an adult, a child, a different race, or a different species. We have testimonials and examples coming at us left and right. There are websites that have these testimonials. A good friend of mine, Dr. Sumola out in Nigeria, he was really sick at age 10. His mom remembered how to treat her family, so she treated him with her urine. He got better, changed his life. He's now a urine therapist 25 years later. There's a story about our friend out there, and I think she's in Arkansas. She would take a big urine bath. She collected a lot in her house, and she would leave the bathtub to go in the kitchen to get something. Well, she had a pit bull at the house that had pain problem, hip problems. When she came back from the kitchen, her dog was in her urine bath, jumping and playing and drinking. After doing this for 4 days, she noticed the dog's pain was gone.
Wow.
So it's universal, which means if you use an animal's, they use yours. We hear more and more people that are helping their kids, helping their dogs. I had a story. I have lots of stories. One gentleman who reached out to me, his caregiver took care of him because he was a 19-year-old young man with autism. We know how people get autism, right? So I'm not going to demonstrate. So she started feeding him her water, her plasma water. That's another name for this, is ultra-filtered blood plasma. She was feeding him her water until he figured out he could do it himself. He starts getting improvement. And then 3 months down the road, I called to check up on him. While we're talking, she puts this phone on speaker mode. And in the next room over, I heard him say, clear as a bell, which is unusual for an autistic person, is that Brother Sage? Say hi to him for me. Well, he stopped shaking. He stopped the behavior of an autistic kid, and he was present and able to track.
Okay. So that's where the physical come together, the physical healing. It started to work with the developmental of his consciousness to get better. So you're saying spiritual. To help us understand the spiritual, for people who don't know, the spiritual connection of the golden waters.
Well, they call it Shivambu in India.
Right.
And what that word means is one or two things. It either means Shivambu, which means water of Shiva, or it means the blood of the Lord.
Mm.
In this case, we're talking about the blood plasma aspect of the blood. So people won't think, okay, we're drinking his blood. This is, but it's all metaphorical.
Right.
So when the body puts all this water together and puts the ingredients together, it has a consciousness or a spirit to itself that guides you and gives you what I call the best of you. Puts it all together, takes all the best of you, puts it all together. And what you're doing is you're recycling your essence.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking your essence, your spiritual essence. This gold water, by the way, contains a molecule of gold. This is why its color is gold. And this is the reason why the alchemists back in the 1700s were looking to transform or alchemize base metal into gold. And one of the things they discovered they could do it with was human urine.
Nice.
And today it's known as white powder of gold or Ormus gold.
Ormus gold. You know, it's funny. We have what is it? I want to say property in the area on Big Island where there's Ormus gold in the water we swim in to get better. Isn't that funny? Wow.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, the ocean is a source of minerals. The ocean is a source of plasma, and we drink our plasma. And the fifth state of matter is plasma. And we're moving into fifth dimensional consciousness. So plasma is important to life.
Okay. That brings it 5D. So that opens the mind, the connection in different, what I'll say for people to know, different realms, different possibilities of different connections of the conscious and unconscious world in the universe.
Correct.
Okay.
And since it has memory, it has DNA, genetic, or whatever kind of memory you want to call it, that's also part of our quantum field here. It can remember all the way back to the beginning of time in which the first people started doing Shivambu and urine therapy.
Wow.
All right. And people have asked me, if it started in one country, people don't know where it started. Did it start in India? Because there's like 10 million people practicing in India. Did it start in Africa? Did it start in here and there? And da-da-da? I said, well, however, the consciousness jumped from country to country to country. They didn't have missionaries going to another country and go, you got to try urine therapy. This is the best thing. No, it happened. It spread the consciousness, the knowingness. That one of the things that people can remember is that when they were in their mom's baby, they're a baby in their mom's belly. While you're growing the fetus, in this womb, this water is filled with amniotic fluid and your mom's urine. And when you got to the stage of your development, when you could urinate, well, that space where the water and the fluid was, also you drank it back in, and your body was massaged in it. And this explains why so many babies are born beautiful.
Right. That's amazing.
And so some people still have that memory, that connection of, oh, this is not so strange.
Right.
And then I asked them the question, if you got it, if you really understand that this was in a sterile environment, and when you were growing your body, it was considered sterile to drink inside the womb, why would it not be sterile outside of the womb? Right? We're in a different environment. We're not living off water, we're living off air now.
Now, you know what? There are breatharians.
Breatharians, yes.
Okay. So, okay, that makes sense, because I always wondered, like, it's like you're putting a lot of pieces to the puzzle together for a lot of us, and they don't even get it. But wow, this is amazing. Definitely want to have you back again to talk about this, because this is amazing, especially in workshops that you do and the Zoom and getting information. And I like the fact, okay, now our urine therapists
Yes.
considered holistic therapists and the holistic field of practitioners, or are they therapists like a physical therapist?
That's going to depend on them and how they identify themselves and how they incorporate it in their practice. There are
Okay.
some people who are, I guess you would call them a lay person,
Right.
right? They practice it. It's a personal practice. It's made a difference in their lives. They feel called to share it with the world. Some of these people find me. They take my courses and classes. I put together a nonprofit in 2018 called shivambu.org, and we
Right.
built an infrastructure for the planet. We even have a directory where you can find these teachers.
Nice. Okay. So if they want to get in touch with some of these teachers, will they be able to find it on brothersage.com? All
Yes.
right.
All right. On the top, there's a drop down menu, and that label of that tab is called resources. All right. You click on the resource tab, you drop down, and the very last listing is UT directory.
I like that. UT directly. Okay.
So you can find people anywhere there is a teacher or therapist that connected with me to be on that list.
So are your people just in the USA or is it global?
Global.
Okay. Just kind of know, because some people just think of the good old USA, and then so we're making it. So what would you advise someone that is young starting, maybe they have diabetes or diabetes, what would your advice be to that particular individual that wants to try urine therapy?
Okay. The very first thing is they have to be willing to start and overcome their resistance or any mind talk they have in their head about not being something that's healthy and a good choice for them. Once they bridge that gap and they realize what you're telling them is true and you're not crazy or you're not in a cult, that's how they used to interpret me. They go, okay, I'm ready. I'm open. How do I do this? So I would introduce several protocols to them. One would be oral,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll start drinking 4 to 6 ounces a day until they can start increasing it until their body gets to a saturation dose level. And then also working on the physical aspect by doing a compress over the pancreas,
Mm-hmm.
doing foot soaks. There's a lot of different protocols I would introduce them to so that their body can start sending nutrients to not only the pancreas, but any part of the body that's also affected. The emotional counterpart I'm really interested in, because a lot of people have a diabetic condition or cancer or whatever it is, and that's connected to how well they're working with their emotions.
Right. Okay.
And how devoted are they to living? And the people who get results that heal with this water, and this is my disclaimer for today, is that urine therapy doesn't work for everybody. It does work for everybody, but in order for it to work, you have to bring together all 4 areas of your life: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And you have to be all in and committed to change your lifestyle to get your body and your brain back. Those are the ones that have been getting the results and being healed.
Okay. All right. I like that. And there's different looks to different urines, because they've been looking like some people's urine is really pale when they come, and then some people's urine is really dark that it looks brown. Some people's urine has a sweet smell to it. Some people's urine have a very
Pungent.
smell. Some people's urine like have residuals right away, and not just wait for sediment, like it comes out automatically. So urine, everybody's urine is so different. Uh,
And
and
it
which
can change. It can change from hour to hour. It's related to what you ate the day before. It's related to what you're eating currently.
there you go.
The best thing you can do is move to foods that have vitality and enzymes and minerals and electrons and chlorophyll and a life force. That's once again, it moves people back to live living foods, because the body doesn't have to work so hard or have things get congested or toxic or inflamed in the colon.
Makes sense.
So when you clean up your diet, the urine smells better, looks better, tastes better.
Okay.
And then you look forward to the next drink. You go, God, I can't wait to, oh, well, here's some right here.
Okay. Oh my gosh, we're going in overtime. So, what is the last words you want people to hear from you? Or thought, your last thought of the night?
My last thought of the night is invite your body's water back into your body. Invite it back into your life. One that you welcome back in. You're not having to navigate through any belief systems about it. And increase the amount of kindness, consideration, and love you have for yourself.
Ashe. I like that. Okay.
Because that medicine, a lot of people are deficient in.
That is great medicine. So everybody, I am Dr. D from 963B for you. I thank you for joining us for this show. I thank you for all your comments. I thank you for being on the line and just holding a line. And even though nobody made any comments on the line, I thank you for calling in.
We love you.
I appreciate you. And if you like and you want more information, please contact Brother Sage at brothersage.com to get more information about his events, to find out if you want to get connected to a urine therapist. He has that for his resource style. You can buy his books on Amazon, and they come in Audible, hardback, as well as ebooks. So you can get them anywhere. So I am Dr. D. I am signing off, and I will see you guys again tonight, because I have another show at 8:00 tonight in about an hour. So I look forward to everybody. Have a beautiful night, and thank you for being a wonderful guest for me tonight and informing and helping us. So thank you so much. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm supposed to end it off.
You press stop.
No, that's not how it ends. You're supposed to have a little button that.
That's too easy.
I was supposed to have this little thing that I could put on. Let me see. Thank you. All righty. And we're going to count down and let it go.